Our next speaker had the longest way to come to us to Vienna. Deputy Dean, PhD in IMT Vietnam is here from the University of Hanoi, to be exactly the Academy of Journalism and Communication. She was partner of Grimm and Ansminger of the Holocaust investigation in Vietnam. It was part of the memory days in relation to the end of the American war in Vietnam. It was the first trial to connect the Holocaust with another dark chapter of European history, the colonial wars and the following wars of liberation. The question is how the remembrance of the Holocaust changes or can change the memory of other breaks of civilization. Her contribution is called Mediatization of History in Vietnam, How to Communicate War Times to Young Vietnamese. Welcome.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nga. My full name may be rather difficult for you to pronounce, so just call me Nga. I may be the person from the Far East area compared to you, because most of you here are from Europe, and I'm an Asian girl from a small Asian country. I'm from the Academy of Journalism and Communication in Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. And yesterday, Professor Grimm was just kidding that I'm the fighting girl here. So it is rather a heavy responsibility to me to be a representative of my country here. But it's my great honor to manage to be here today as a representative of a partner of the project hosted by the University of Vienna. Today you have listened to a lot of presentations related to Holocaust, and my topic is rather new to you. We also involved in the project, and we also watched the Holocaust, the Night and Fog documentary. But tomorrow in the workshop, maybe Professor Grimm and Andreas will talk about the data analysis, including Vietnam. But today I think that I should let you know an overview picture of the situation in Vietnam to get more closer to you, to get you know more about us as your partner. So the topic today is about mediatization of history in Vietnam and how we communicate war times to young Vietnamese people. So to begin with, I will introduce very briefly some milestones in our history, because maybe you are not familiar with an Asian country's history. So I will say very briefly the very important milestones in our history from early kingdom. Then we experienced nearly 1,000 years under the Chinese domination, after which we had another almost 1 millennium of autonomy ruled by our medieval feudal dynasties. And then we were colonized by the French, and then got involved in the Indochina War, and then we got the national liberation in 1975 after the American War or the Vietnam War. Those two names are the same. And firstly, I will focus on the media especially during the American War or the Vietnam War, because at that time medias are developed enough, and they proved really the role of shaping and framing the processes and discourse of communication in Vietnamese history. I will begin with the ways we report war during war times. We use printed newspapers, radios, community speakers. Televisions at that time were not so popular, so those are three most popular means of media that we use to report on wartime. We also use photos, prose or poems, posters with a lot of mottos, and documentaries to communicate people of what was happening at the battlefield and also in the rear. But before analyzing more clearly the role of media during war times in Vietnam, I think it is necessary to clarify the differences in the trend of mediatization in Vietnam between during war times and post-war times. As mentioned in the introduction about national historical stages, you can see that most of the time our nation faced with enemy and we had to struggle for our national independence. And that is the reason why all the Vietnamese people then and until now we have firmly believed that those goals are patriotic goals and we struggle for our national freedom and independence. That is also the reason why most of the media at that time played the role of calling for nationalism, patriotism, national loyalty, the feeling of attachments to shape the collective behavior of the whole nation. It's rather different from the role of media after the wars. It's not, they are not contradictory, but it's rather different from the trend because after the war, when communicating about historical information, the media played the role of helping the next generation, the future generation, to understand more about the sacrifice of our predecessors, to enhance the national pride, the pride of national history, and also to appreciate the value of peace. This is not from my own point of view, but it coincides with a lot of researchers and scholars, as I noted here. These are three researchers, and they also had the same comparisons like this. Okay, so to illustrate the role of media as to raise the patriotism and nationalism in Vietnam during war times, I will give some details about the media coverage, the topics of media coverage during war times. The most popular topic at that time is the activities on the battlefield of the soldiers. But in a very optimistic way, you can see that in this picture, a soldier was badly wounded in his head, but he still continued fighting at the front. Or this picture about the soldiers at the battlefield, but they are smiling very comfortably. It seemed that they are not struggling at all. The background of this picture is a devastated or destroyed forest, completely nothing left, but these soldiers were chatting with each other and they were sharing the joyfulness while reading the letters from their relatives. And this is a very famous picture in Vietnamese history. This is the picture symbolized for the war between Vietnam and America. You can see that a very small girl caught a very big and strong American man. So a small girl can symbolize for Vietnam as a very small country. We can take control of a very powerful man and powerful country as the United States. And this is one of the most favored photos and pictures at that time. And the soldiers even organized an orchestra in the forest to celebrate their victories. Another topic at that time also relates to our national leader, the President Ho Chi Minh. He is really admired among all the Vietnamese people until now, and he sacrificed all his life for our national liberation. And he was so influential at that time and until today. And whenever he had a speech or when he went to the battlefield to support the soldiers, that is also a very popular topic for journalists to report on the media to enhance the encouragement for the whole nation to struggle. And another topic is about the senseless cruelties of American soldiers. It is the picture of My Lai massacre in March 1968. During just more than 4 hours, more than 500 Vietnamese civilians were killed, including kids and the elderly. So they are just normal civilians and they did nothing wrong to them, but they were killed. And another popular topic on media at that time is emotional letters back and forth between the soldiers and their family. And those touching letters never talk about the miseries at the front, but they express the hurtful feeling of separation, the missing each other, and they also believe in the bright future of the country. The topics of Vietnamese media after the war turn to talk about the violence, the suffering, the traumas, the atrocities that Vietnamese people have to suffer, and also the consequences such as the toxic herbicide, the bombs, environmental impact, diseases, victims, or separations. These photos are not from the Vietnamese photographers. They are from the journalists from AP, Associated Press. This is a picture of a Vietnamese man carrying the dead body of his kid and asking the soldier why. The question has been unanswered. Or the photos of the separated families, the unarmed men and women and children, and they are the targets of brutal, unprovoked acts. That is a very famous picture and very the synonymous picture of the horror of American war in Vietnam. That is a picture of a 9-year-old girl bombarded by a napalm bomb from the U.S. Army. She was running naked along the road, but she was naked because all her clothes were torn because of the bomb, and her skin was even peeled off because of the bomb, and her mouth opened agonically. And this is very famous picture all over the world about the American war in Vietnam. And another topic of the post-war time in Vietnamese media also talk about the U.S. Program of defoliation, codenamed as Operation Ranch Hand. They sprayed more than 19 million gallons of herbicides, over 4.5 million acres of forest in Vietnam from 1961 to 1972. And Agent Orange was a powerful mixture of very toxic chemicals, and they caused a lot of seriously health issues to the young Vietnamese people nowadays. As you can see in these pictures, a lot of psychological problems and also physical health diseases. But not only to Vietnamese young generation, but also to the families and the next generation of the U.S. servicemen. And now I will talk about how we communicate war times to young Vietnamese people. The media in Vietnam today played the role of letting the young generation be aware of war consequences and enhance their national patriotism, value the peace, enhance the community's involvement in resolving the consequences, call for humanitarian assistance, and boost reconciliation efforts. This is one of the cemetery among 3,000 cemeteries in Vietnam just for the soldiers in the war. And this is the largest cemetery in Vietnam, where more than 10,000 soldiers were buried. A lot of them have tombs there, but we still haven't found out their bodies. And we organize a lot of field trips there, both the young Vietnamese people and also the foreigners. This is one of the ex-US servicemen. He returned to Vietnam to redeem for his mistake, and now he's a friend of us and he's helping us a lot. This is a picture of Professor Green. He attended last year a field trip to Vietnam. He's standing next to the the Vietnamese photographer who took the picture of the smiling soldiers, as I told you at the beginning of my presentation. So now I will talk the reason why we participate in this project. This project is named as Broadcasting History in the Transnational Space, and we also participated in the project watching the documentaries from the World War I, the Holocaust, and we also contribute 2 documentaries from related to American War in Vietnam. The first documentary we proposed is The Sound of Violin on Massacre of My Lai. Talks about a man who plays a violin. He used to be a US soldier in Vietnam War, and now he plays the violin as a compensation for what he has done. And another film is Obsession. Talks about a man killed, an American man killed a Vietnamese soldiers, but he was so obsessed that he returned to Vietnam to return the backpack of that Vietnamese soldiers, and then he helped the family find out the dead body of that soldiers. And I remember that we had 8 groups of students participated in the project with nearly 400 probants, and we also conduct the pre and post questionnaires. There are some difficulties about when participating in this project. We have to say that it is a sad retrospection for our history, and we do not really want to dig it up again. And another difficulty is the workload of translation, the transcript, because we have to translate it from Austria into English, and then from English into Vietnamese. However, joining this project is very good opportunities to shaping new perspective on broadcasting history, because we are from different culture, different continent, different economy, and even different political systems. But we watch the same documentaries, and we have the similarities of experiencing the world. So I think that it is a great chance for us to share our perspectives on the same topic. So that comes to the end of my presentation, and I'm going to answer any questions from you. Thank you very much.
Questions? Short.
A little additional aspect. This 400 programs, not only in Vietnam, they are also in Vienna. The basic idea is to show the documentary from the Western context and the Vietnamese context in both countries, and then you have a systematical perspective sharing. And you can see what are the reaction of the recipients in the from the same country where the documentary is, or they have a different perspective, and they have to think then what is the perspective of the others. And I think only in this aspect of comparing lies a new possibility of appropriation of history, transnational way of appropriation of history. And I think it helps a little bit, or it should be, this is our ethical motivation, to make it more easy to come to a peaceful conflict solution in some current affairs or whatever we have now or in the future. And I think this is a school for learning this. Perspective sharing, historical things is for me a communication tool for conflict management in the present. That is the basic idea from the whole project, and I'm very happy that now here is, and she symbolized the wide range we have, so far away, and we have a common interest and on a humanitarian way of conveyance of historical topics, and to come to a situation in which the break of civilization is not so probable like in the past. Thank you for this presentation.